Hey friends, this is Karen from Blue Rooster Farm, and today we're in the kitchen getting ready to make some kettle corn. So if you want to see how we make stovetop kettle corn, stick around. Thanks for sticking around. Like I said at the beginning of this video, we are going to be making kettle corn today. And we're going to be making it on the stovetop with just a big pot and regular corn kernels and some sugar and some oil and maybe a little salt too. When we first moved up here from Springfield, Missouri, over 25 years ago, one thing that we noticed, because we're now in northern Missouri, so not real far, 5 hours or so away. One thing we noticed was there was a lot of kettle corn stands up around town, and in front of Walmart, somebody was always selling kettle corn. I think at Lowe's in Quincy, somebody always had a stand of kettle corn going there, and it always smelled so good, and you'd buy the big bags of it, and it was really good. Every time there's any kind of town event, any of their different celebrations, there's always kettle corn stands here too. So we started eating it at that time. Otherwise, we had never really tried it before. And I don't know if it was just becoming more popular at that time or if it was just more popular in this area. I do see a lot of kettle corn, I guess the microwave popcorns and the kettle corn in the bags now. So I know it's more popular now, but 25 years ago, you know, I had not heard of it. So having eaten it, you know, whenever there were different events around, we decided we were going to try to make it ourselves, and we found some recipes and we tried it. Now we do have the whirligig popcorn popper, which is a big pan that has a stirring like a handle at the top, and you turn it, and there's a little wire at the bottom of the pan that keeps it mixed so that you don't burn or scorch your popcorn. But I'm not going to use that today because I know a lot of my viewers do not have one, and I want to show you that you can do this recipe with just a big pot. So what I have found is earlier, right before Christmas, one of our Mennonite stores up here carries this brand. It is called Amish Country Popcorn, and you can find it in a lot of specialty shops online. They sell big bags of one flavor or another, but this was a sampler pack, and it has 10 different samples of 10 different corns in it. And so there's things like medium yellow, a rainbow that has all different colored popcorn, lady fingers, it's the smallest of all the holes, so they have different qualities about them that make them good. The medium white is hulless. The blue is a little sweet. The purple is tender, fewer holes, more flavor, higher in antioxidants. So there's something different about each one of these in here. So I think the one that I'm going to try is just the regular yellow extra large kernels, and these are 4-ounce sizes, so that is half a cup of popcorn, and that's exactly what we need for our recipe that we're making. So we're going to use this. If you have regular popcorn at home, just measure out a half a cup. So I'm going to bring you down to the pot down here and let you see how we make it. Okay, so what I'm using to make my popcorn is just this enamel pan. It's not a heavy pan on the bottom. It's heavy, but not. It doesn't have like an insulated base on this one. I prefer to use a lightweight pan because it seems to pop the kernels a lot faster. This one would work just fine. It's not as big, but it should work just fine. It's just a stainless steel. It's one that we use for our pasta. It's just a little smaller. just going to go ahead and use this bigger one just to make sure I have enough room in it. And then I've got some stainless steel bowls over here. So when I pop the popcorn, I'm going to quickly pour it into a bowl, and then I'll show you how I separate it so we get rid of a lot of the holes. So I think we are ready to start. So let me turn on the heat. Now, when you're making popcorn, you want to use between medium, high, and high, just because you want it to be hot, but you don't want it to burn, so you can kind of adjust it while you're cooking. And it also depends on your burner, how hot your burner is. I've got a gas stove, so I can regulate it a little more carefully, but you'll know what temperature as you're listening to the popping. So I'm going to put it right now to a medium for just a second. And I'm going to put 1/4 cup of oil, and this is just vegetable oil, I believe. A lot of people like coconut oil. Whatever oil you prefer is fine. I'm just using vegetable because I know a lot of viewers will have that in their pantries. And I'm just kind of coating the bottom. Now, I'm also going to be adding a little salt to mine. You can wait and salt yours at the end, but I kind of like to have the salt in there just to add some flavor into the centers of the popcorn. And a lot of times the salt falls off of the popcorn after it's cooked. So I'm just going to add about 1/2 teaspoon, and this is just some sea salt, red sea salt. And as soon as the oil starts getting to be hot, and I can hear it kind of splattering a little bit, there's a little moisture on my spoon, I guess. It is ready to have the popcorn added. I haven't added the sugar yet. We're going to add the popcorn first. Now, the first time you make this, it may not come out exactly the way you like, but practice does make it perfect. So right now, I am going to get my other pot holder and just kind of shake just the popcorn, the oil, and the salt in there to get it nice and mixed. And I am just going to let this start heating. And when I start hearing it pop is when I'm going to add the sugar. And I'm just going to add 1/4 cup. Don't try to add more because it'll just cause it to burn, more likely to burn. If you want a sweeter corn, I would go with caramel corn. But I would say 1/4 cup or less, you'll be safe. And again, I am going to get this popping just a little bit before I add it because it does have a tendency to burn. And you do want to use really fresh popcorn. If you have older popcorn, it may not pop as well. So be sure your popcorn is fresh enough to have good results. You don't want to leave this on any longer than you have to get those older popcorn whole, or those older popcorn kernels to pop. And be sure you have some pot holders because you're going to want to pick it up and shake it too. I did hear a pop in there, so it's just about time for me to add my sugar. And you just have to be careful when you add your sugar. You don't want the popcorn to be popped out. And I've added that, and then we're going to start shaking it good. Get that sugar coated in there. Put it on the heat, get it going. take a look and see what we have. There is our popcorn, and we're gonna pour it in the bowl. And I'm gonna put the pot over here. Now this is really, really hot because that sugar on it is super hot. So don't touch it right away. Let it cool for just a second. And what we're gonna do, now when you're making kettle corn, you need to watch it and keep shaking, and it may not get as many of the kernels popped as you normally do because you're not wanting to burn your popcorn. If you leave it in too long, it'll burn. So I think this is cool enough to pick up now. So what I'm going to do is just pick it up, kind of shake it, and put it in my other bowl. And that way we can get most of the kernels out. All right, so there we have our kernels and our popcorn. And this looks so good. Let's give it a try. That is really good. Now you can see where it started trying to burn in a few places. That's why you need to keep shaking it. But it's not burned. We caught it in time. It's nice and crispy, and there's a little sugar glaze on it. Just perfect. I'm gonna make a couple more pots, and then I'll show you what we have. And when you get ready to make your next batch, be sure you wash your pan out, because if there's sugar in there, that's gonna burn first thing. So always start with a clean pan. Unlike regular popcorn popping, when you can just keep adding more popcorn, when you're adding the sugar, you're gonna get some sugar on the sides, and that will just burn and it'll mess up your popcorn. So always start with a clean pan. So like I said, I'm gonna make some more, and I'm gonna do exactly the same thing that I did a while ago. And then I'll show you my end product when I get it all done. And this is the white corn, and it turned out really good too. Just a white kernel. That's good too. I wonder if you can guess whose hand this is. It's too hard to resist, isn't it? All right, I'll bring it back. So here is what they call a mushroom popcorn. It's just more of a ball. It looks really good. That came out nice. Again, be careful, they are hot. Here we have our big bowl full of popcorn. I ended up popping 3 different kinds of popcorn, and they were all delicious. They each had their special qualities and really neat to try different varieties. So we ate as much as we could, and then we put them into large plastic bags and used the twist ties, and they will store like that for several days. Just keep them sealed up. But I hope you enjoyed this recipe. If you did, please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate that. And also don't forget to like and share. And I hope to see you back here soon. Thanks for watching.